Thank you for a lot. Thank you for any questions. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't recall whether I called Daniel Broussard. I did not write it down.
Thank you. I have 6 minutes of prepared statements. If you choose to interrupt me and request that I stop, I will provide you the remainder in email.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to do one more reminder. I know you've all heard it now 3 or 4 times, but if it's been said before, please skip over it and tell us something we haven't heard yet, and I will, of course, be timely. Thank you.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Daniel Webster Bruce Hard, and per your request, I'm going to take at least 3 minutes to offer my description of why you must vote yes on 481. I'm a descendant of a settler from London, England, who established residence in New Hampshire, and though he did not see combat serving in the Continental armies, marched a great distance at the call for reinforcements during the Revolution. I was a child in New Hampshire, and the first reason you must vote yes on 481 is for the children. Without the passage of 481, there is no restriction on the marketing of cannabis products. I waited until adulthood to use tobacco products because of the age restrictions placed on them for over-the-counter sales. I had used cannabis products before ever smoking a cigarette, and at 18 observed throughout my life how frequently tobacco smoking serves as a smokescreen for cannabis users who would be judged negatively if they bore the aroma of cannabis. The negative health consequences of inhalation of combusted tobacco are often applied to cannabis use in error, and the advances in vaporization technology offer a prospect for the beneficial effects of cannabis products to come along with even fewer negative health consequences than putting a butane lighter directly to leaves and buds, what I refer to casually as the caveman method. That aside, I believe that once the age restriction has been placed into law, the children of New Hampshire will listen and wait, respecting the precaution of adults in this state. At this time, we have hypocrisy, where underage drug dealers are no doubt preyed upon by their elders with the resources to produce the product at the same time as this state has rather covertly allowed a medical cannabis industry to operate, servicing primarily the terminally ill. Hardcore criminals adhere to a policy that leaves no witnesses, choosing only those on the cusp of death, while potentially compassionate admission has no doubt made it difficult for the lay person in New Hampshire to hear any first-hand accounts of what the products being produced at the alternate treatment centers are actually like in qualitative terms. I am not a medical patient, but at least once I have been given dried cannabis flower I was told came from the alternate treatment centers by way of one of their liaisons with the ability to carry the goods outside the center, or in other words, they're not following their own rules. I find it particularly hypocritical that the 126X legislation prescribes using DEA authority. Amidst the frequent discussions of how 481 will interfere with federal policy, we already have federal agents distributing cannabis products in this state, and they represent the same agencies that have seized property and jailed individuals for nonviolent drug offenses for decades. We can compete with the market's illegal and legal. The House Ways and Means Committee has made sensible amendment to this bill with the assistance of the DRA and the input of private citizens. This is the proper way to address the black market. We have remained the oasis of common sense in the region this long, and good things come to those who wait. The tax rates in 481 represent the New Hampshire way. Any production that tax is similar to beer, and at retail, it's similar to meal in rooms. Bipartisan and even-handed, there is still an opt-out for those who, like the end of alcohol prohibition, would prefer to not participate in this industry. I've patronized adult-use retail cannabis, domestic and internationally, Amsterdam, Colorado, and most recently in Massachusetts. A sight to see their dispensaries, something like Apple Store and a bank combined together. You can use credit, debit, and cash at these facilities. If we go forward with adult use cannabis, we will not be normalizing the use. Louis Armstrong, Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, Miley Cyrus have already done this. We will be differentiating from the previous use patterns and from the dangerous black market products. The old paradigm is truly potentially dangerous. No one should have to use the caveman method and expose themselves to inhaled carbon monoxide in order to dose a cannabis product in the 21st century. I'm a molecular biologist. I've attended 4 different institutions of higher education and hold 2 degrees. I became a member of an honor society and held a 4.0 at a time as a student while using cannabis to self-medicate for orthopedic pain relief. I theorize that this is not the cannabinoids that interfere with memory, but asphyxiation from inhalation of carcinogens. In New Hampshire, I might be able to purchase a $100 quarter ounce of 7 metric grams of black market cannabis, roll 1 cigar and smoke it in a sitting. Smaller increments, only 5 grams, would refined into a hash oil and sold for the same $100 in Massachusetts might last me 3 weeks through a controlled dose vaporizer. Which brings me to the second reason that you must vote yes on 481, which is for the adults, so that they can have open and honest dialogue with their physicians about cannabis use in their lifetime. Christine Blasey Ford's testimony and witnesses about it with psychologists wasn't enough. We've decriminalized the possession, but legalization is required to have honest data to determine what safe usage is.
Thank you very much. Please, do you have something to email to us so that we
Oh,
can
yeah.
review it as well?
Yeah, there's so much misinformation that's been shared in this chamber, all of it seeking to postpone what we already deserve to have achieved as a society. Pass 481 first, and then we can get into the real issues.